Welcome back, everyone, to the podcast number 36. And today, we are going to compress years of experience in 1 hour. और मैं 1 hour क्यों बोल रहा हूँ? क्योंकि इसके अंदर आपको ना आपके जो बोलने का तरीका आपने सालों से अभी आप चल रहे हो, कर रहे हो, किस तरीके से आप बात कर रहे हो, even you are running a 200 crores of business, but still, there's something you are missing. So, join this podcast for next 1 hour. Leave everything, and you are going to take a lot of things with you. By a lot of things means the way you speak, how you can impress anyone, how you can take the power with the silence, right? And how you can be a good public speaker rather than a public speaker. You will be a role model in this. And by role model means people will admire you for the speaking and how you are doing you're leading your business is incredible. अब मैं इसको ज्यादा लंबा नहीं खींचूंगा. I was gonna cut करके ना let's get back to the guest who is going to tell us with the experiences how he's training CEOs, CXOs and how the newbies, by newbies mean जो लोग अभी अभी कॉलेज से निकले हैं ना and अभी मैनेजर बनने हैं उनके लिए भी लर्निंग है कि उनको CXO तक कैसे पहुंचना है और क्या बोल के पहुंचना है. So let's welcome author Sherry sir to the podcast. Hi sir, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. Thank you so much.
Welcome sir, and you have already heard कि we will talk about the your experience in 1 hour. I know it's very difficult, but yeah, I still want to not make it long, but I want a lot of things from your side कि मेरे ऑडियंस को वो चीज अच्छी पता लगे कि यार वो कैसे ग्रो कर सकते हैं.
Sure.
Yeah. So, first, which I want to go with you, is the reality check for the CXOs.
Mhm.
So you're working a lot of CXOs, right? They are running wonderful businesses, but they lack in public speaking. That's why. मतलब क्यों होता है वो?
Okay, so if you talk about CEO, first of all, let's understand the literal meaning of CEO. We have one designation in the mind. CEO means Chief Executive Officer.
True.
In public speaking, that Chief Executive Officer becomes Chief Engagement Officer.
Hmm.
And when we talk about this breed of entire CXOs, see, these are the people who are very intelligent. They are highly informed about the current affairs. They are the most updated people. They are the most prolific people and the most talented people in the lobby. Now, the question arises, how are you going to train them? And that's where there's a big gap actually. Because according to the Forbes, 92% of the people who are working from middle management, they promote to the senior management without having any specific training on an important subject like public speaking and presentation. And this is where I come in the picture. So what I've noticed most of the time is that all the CXOs, they know excellent about this subject. They have a lot of information. But when it comes to presenting their ideas, they have the fear. They become conscious. And that's where things go a different way. I have known many CXOs who have trained in the past. I'll give you one example. So somebody from the hospitality business, excellent in personal communication, Kubar. But
Okay.
when he talks about going to the public, he has fear. He has certain nervousness and he feels panic. And that's where he becomes conscious. Whether what I'm going to say in front of public, are they going to receive me the same way which I do in personal communication? In personal communication, he's excellent and he is very informative. But the moment he comes into a public role where he is addressing his team, where he's addressing his clients, where he's going as a leadership keynote speaker, where he's going to different public conferences, that is where it gets tough. And the main reason, the key reason is they are not able to understand that when you talk about public speaking, it is a performance based communication task. It is not only communication. So you are not just communicating, it's performance also. By performance, what I mean is that you have to use your body language aptly. You have to create your different dictions and make your point so easy. The key role of an orator or a speaker is that they are delivering complex ideas and making it easy. How you can reduce that gap of earning or burning less calories for somebody is what the thought is. So, if I can express you an idea and you will understand it in a very simple, easy language, that's where you will become an effective public speaker. And that's where you will become more engaging. And of course, how you can apply humor, how you can apply entertainment, how you can apply certain stories, examples, is what people are looking at. So, how you put a point wherein you can introduce some examples, some kind of statistics, how you are giving weightage to what you're talking is what most of the people are looking at.
Hey, that's a very beautiful thing because even I says if I am there, even I have fear. If somebody come to me, I will be very good talking personally. But yes, you are right. Is a fear is judgmental?
Yeah. See, when you talk about fear of public speaking, people judge you. But people judge you with a perspective of whether he's going to come here, whether he's going to stand over here. Is he going to say what we really want to listen? So,
True.
what type of research you have done for your entire subject? How you are prepared in that moment? It doesn't matter you have excellent knowledge about what you are doing, but what matters is, are you going to share that knowledge, express yourself in such a way where people can connect with you? Now, that is where you need to understand what people are thinking. So, the first point is the audience psychology. You become audience centric.
True.
So, when you get comfortable with the audience get comfortable with you. Now, that judgment gets evaded. And that's where people start listening to you, they learn from you, and you as a speaker improvise. And that's where people start thinking, yes, I can learn more from the speaker. You create that credibility. So, what you are saying in the first few seconds of your talk, as I always say, how you are starting your talk is the most important subject we have in public speaking. So, I'll give you one sample. Uh, 3 4 days back, I was teaching somebody about the starter talk to one of the CXOs, and it's March end.
Yep.
We are already nearing March end, and there's a lot of gear up of pressure.
Pressure
And
and to present it in front of board and everyone.
so there's a lot of
Yeah.
expectation from each and every performer of the organization. And one of these CXOs was asking me, Sherry, I have to conduct a team meeting. How should I do this? And I said, sir, you start with a bang. He said, start with a bang, but how? I said, okay, let's do one thing. You will start like this. My dear colleagues, today I stand before here and I have an announcement to make. I want all of you to put your resignation
Whoa. Why?
from your job mindset. And I want all of you to shift from job mindset to a paradigm of entrepreneurial mindset, a leader mindset. Think as a team leader. Think yourself as a CEO of the company and start going to the market and talk like a CEO.
That's a bang on. No? It's a kind of a thing, your joke. It's a bang on because actually it's a bang on because it just need a very much courage to say resign from your job. Mind drops it.
So the trick here is, Kumar, that when you say, I want all of you to resign, put your resignation, and there is a beep, there is a pause. The moment you take a pause, now you are putting people into the curiosity. They are anticipating, just like you said. Oh, what? Why?
Why? Huh? Yeah, true.
That's what people think. Now that's the start of your talk. The moment you start like this, you're actually making a lot of meaning that shift your focus from a job mindset wherein you're working as an employee. An employee has certain expectations from the organization. You shift that expectation to become a leader and start performing like a leader. Don't be into an employee mindset where you are just expecting some salary to come, and apply that entrepreneurial mindset where you are working for your own company. And that's where you set up the agenda, the context rightly. And this is where I say, Kuvar, start of your talk is of extreme importance. And your question was, are people judging you? Yes, they judge you. Yes. But If you start well, if you set the context right, then immediately that judgment vanishes.
Vanishes. That's true. But it's a very hard statement as well. But when it's come to the this communication, so if I talk, if a CXO is not able to communicate, it's a hard reality. But yes, a lot of CXO are not able to communicate, and they actually affect the alignment of the revenue and as well as people as well.
It does. It does. You're absolutely right. I'm going to share one small anecdote with you. I had been coaching one of the corporate promoters. Won't be able to take the name due
Yeah.
to the non-disclosure agreements. And that's the way I work. We never disclose any of our clients' name anywhere publicly, and that has been always the way. So while I was training this corporate promoter, now he's coming from a filthy rich family. He is coming from a business where there are a lot of people working. I mean, he does not need to be in the business, even if he wants to spend some good time for an year or become a spiritual leader. He can work like that. But the moment he is in the organization, there are certain expectations which you are bound to give it back to your company. This is where the corporate promoters are expected to perform, lead the entire organization. But here is the problem. The problem is that they can do excellent communication one to one.
Hmm.
But the moment it comes from one to many, that's where the problem is. And the person I'm talking about, he used to shiver. He used to have panic attacks. And while having the conversation with him, I tried to figure out where is this coming from. So I do something called root cause analysis, RCA, and that's where I found out that that person was somewhere deep inside having certain fears because his father used to scold him in the childhood. And from there, he established that small space in his brain, and his communication model was entirely working on that. And that's where I always say it's all about working on the science of the person. That's where the human psychology works. And we tried to figure out how we can recover from this. And gradually, it took around 3 to 4 months for me to make him feel comfortable by applying certain tools, techniques, exercises, of course. And from there was no looking back. Now, the same person, we have prepared him for a conference which he was supposed to deliver, and he was supposed to speak in front of 1,500 employees of his own organization, all top management and middle management. Guess what? He did that.
Oh my god.
He did that. He was so happy. He was on cloud nine and he sent me those video clips. I was also happy in that moment because we worked very hard to find out where was the problem, start working on it, gradually remove that for the pattern in his brain, and finally we see the result. So it is all about the transformation and result where I focus. And I think this is one of the cases where I just want to communicate and inform you that whenever somebody like that person meets me and working in the highest capacity of the organization, we try to figure out where the gaps are. This is where customization of the coaching and one to one interaction on a personal level is of extreme importance.
That's true. And while you have just given a reference, that CXO level person has a mindset because of childhood. So I would just take a minute from here and ask you a thing. What kind of things parents should not do with the children, which may occur a problem, make a problem for their children in future? What they should not do?
I think first and foremost, they should not impose much of the things. Like usually, we see at present when we are talking about training CXOs, so their childhoods have been in 80s and 90s
Yeah.
or 70s more. But when I talk about the current Gen Z, so I mean, right these days parents are not imposing much, and even if they do so, the millennials don't allow them to
Do it.
get themselves into that trap of talk. So the first and foremost thing, not doing much of the imposing. Second, do not do anything which involves any kind of overthinking for a kid, which is making him impulsive. I would say because the moment the kid become impulsive, He is actually inviting a mental disorder, ADHD.
True.
And that's quite common in kids these days, because if you see a kid just jumping around like a monkey and talking and just touching your face and mimicking you, that's where you understand, oh, he might be suffering from something called ADHD, which is an impulsive disorder. And that's where things get wrong. So let's not get into that. And as much as you can avoid your kid to overthink anything, don't get into that kind of a situation. And thirdly, I would say that teach them the civic etiquettes, extremely important. The moment you teach your kids civic etiquettes, you talk about the behavior, that's where most of the things automatically take the shape. And then, of course, you become the role model. If you are using mobile phones yourself and you're asking your kid not to do so,
True.
I think you're not setting the right example. And if you are using it, so just allow them to use themselves also. But yes, set up some habits, set up some standard or the time schedule. And that's where I think these are some of the tips which can really help.
I that's true because nowadays parents I've seen a lot of started moving towards the book reading again. It used to be in 90s, but now they are moving because they are not able to say no to the children when they are very addicted to the phone. But on the contrary, even in my home, I've seen my parents or the grandparents used to be are addicted to the phones more than us. Now they're like, यार और time pass क्या करें?
Right.
Just start reading. But now coming back to our main topic. So while researching on the topic, I've seen a lot of people on ChatGPT and Claude and these kind of. They are searching how do I sound more attractive or authoritative when I speak? How do I structure a high stake board presentation? How do I handle a tough Q&A confidently? Do you really think these AI tools will help the people to be confident to get where they are looking for, or they actually need a person like you which can help them and make them more confident and show it their assertiveness?
Sure. So, first of all, Kubo, let's understand one thing that
Hmm.
we have entered into that era now where AI is going to be a part. It's not going to uh, remove from our lives. It's going to stay here for a very long time now. Having said that, when you talk about artificial intelligence and the usage, in the context of public speaking, you can use artificial intelligence to give right structures to your talk, to give a decent shape to your story and the content. And I have definitely seen myself using a lot of CXOs, doing that storytelling, creating that speeches using the AI, using ChatGPT and other tools which are available easily on the click of a button. But now, coming to the other part where AI cannot support you, the first and foremost is your practice. Practice never makes you perfect, it always makes you progressive. So, if you want to become progressive into public speaking and presentation, you have to practice. And I see many of the CXOs are not practicing much
Hmm.
because
True.
they are not into the habit of practicing. Second is the most important part, which is related to their own fear. They have a fear of speaking in front of people, they have fear of people. So, even if you are very well articulated with your documented talks, if you start using the script in front of people, you lose your authority and authenticity almost by 50% in that moment.
True.
So you got to learn the art of public speaking, which is more extempore and which is more authentic. And you can do so by taking a help from a professional. It can be me, it can be anyone else. So that's where you have professionals like me who are there to guide you how to become paperless. My USP, which I do in coaching for CXOs, I make them paperless. I will not allow them to use any paper.
They have to
And
think and then speak.
absolutely. So they are on the spur of the moment, they can talk. And thirdly, which I observe with the people because they are creating big companies, is that when you talk about the learning curve, they are getting a lot of benefits in terms of the perks and the promotions within the organization. But many of the CXOs are not in the habit of upgrading their skills regularly. That's where most of the problems come. So, if you are running up the ladder in your organization, I'm here to suggest you that please start investing 1 to 2 hours at least twice a week
True.
to what you want to learn. And if public speaking is that subject, I must recommend you should definitely invest time in learning the art of communication. बिकॉज वो हिंदी में कहते हैं ना कि किसी क्लास में हमें ये नहीं पढ़ाया जाता कि हमें बोलना कैसे
बोलना
है
कैसे है?
और हम बोलते कैसे हैं वो ये डिसाइड करता है हम किस क्लास के हैं. So if you
True.
want to create that class, you have to reach the mass. You have to attend public speaking class as well.
That's true. And I guess AI is not going to tell you about the posture. It's not going to tell you how the authoritative you can be. And it cannot tell, it will not tell you the how you will recalibrate yourself in front of anyone. And definitely where it comes here, yes, art of speaking actually an art.
I'll tell you one example. Yesterday, I was sitting with the one of the directors of an NBFC, and it's a listed company. And while I was training him, now I'm sure he has a lot of access to ChatGPT, as our subject is that right now. Now he's asking me certain questions which are totally personalized.
Hmm.
ChatGPT cannot answer you the personalized question. For example, it cannot tell you, seeing your slide, how you have to change, what story you have to keep, and how you have to deliver it. So delivery part and customization part is something which ChatGPT or any AI tool can do, but up to an extent.
Hmm.
But when it requires a human touch, a human motivation, or setting up an example, like I'm doing it for him, then he's copying me, he's following me. These things are not there in ChatGPT or AI. That's where you need a human touch. And most of the time, you are all alone into the AI world. It's you and AI. True. And nobody. So sometimes you need that physical person in front of you, that emotion, because we learn from emotion. Emotion itself is energy in motion. So you need energy. And to create that energy, you need somebody physically to guide you. That's where you create the synergies of learning.
True. And that's a very deep thing. And you rightly said that this is only AI in you. And there's no human touch. And AI will work according to your prompt.
Absolutely.
It doesn't know about your past, doesn't know about your future, doesn't know about what you're going through, what in your is your mind, until unless you write it.
No, even if AI is taking a lot of absorbing a lot of information, even if it knows about your past and present, AI will not be able to guide you in a way where you can start picking up those points and start using it as it is. There is something called feedback and evaluation.
True.
That feedback and evaluation has to be humanly given. And most of the time, the improvement does not come from speaking, it comes from evaluation and the feedback. Because when you have people around you as a CXO, a lot of people just praise you. They just give praises about, oh, you spoke very well, it was a fantastic speech. But nobody talks about your areas of improvement. Why? Because you are a CXO, you are the highest authority in the organization. It is the coach only who talks about your areas of improvement. It is the coach only who talks about and has the guts about speaking for your weaknesses. And that's
True.
where you have to work. And most of the time, all these CXOs, they are so much lost into their praises, they are not ready to accept any
The
feedbacks.
feedbacks.
And that's where the problem arises. Because you are living in such a vicious world where you feel that everybody is praising me, so I must be doing everything right. And
I'm
they
the only one who is right.
absolutely. And many times you get into that perfection syndrome. I'm doing perfect. I'm perfect. Public speaking is never about perfection. It's always about self confidence and self esteem.
True. So now coming up on the from the topic of the CXOs, now we're jumping to these co-founders. Almost same here, but what I've seen, the similar kind of a issue is with the founders as well. They have wonderful products, but they lost their investors in the first 60 seconds. Or even though they have a good product, but they are not able to sell their product in the market?
That's a very good question, Gaur. Let me answer this by telling you that most of the time there is a presentation pitch deck available. And as a co founder, you're in the mindset of telling that presentation as a pitch deck.
Hmm.
You do not think that if they will get to know about me as a person, where I'm coming from, where I indulged certain habits, how I got better in my life, and how did I form an opinion about doing this business, and how did this idea conceived. If you can answer these questions in a form of a story, if that story can be delivered in the first 60 seconds, and you can share certain points about your journey, then do you think the VC or the investor will not take interest in you? Definitely he will. Let's take an example. Suppose you are coming from finance background and you have started your own fintech. You need funding for it. How will you do it? You will say, I hail from a family who stays in Palampur, Himachal Pradesh. We are born in Punjabi family, shifted to a village. And my father always taught me the value of 1 rupee. And that's where the journey of my finance got started. And he taught me that save this money because this 1 rupee does not look good for you because you're going to buy some candy. But if you have an emergency, this 1 rupee will favor you. That's where I learned the first lesson of finance in my life. And from there was no looking back. I came to the higher studies to Delhi. I did my bachelor's of commerce and I started understanding the key difference between debit and credit. I worked with some of the best professionals in the companies, and my last organization was IFCI, where I served as a CEO of the company. And I understood the science of recovery, where most of the people were not giving the money back to the organization, and our company was booking losses. I was the one who found that if we can fund on bill discounting, we are getting recovery rate up to 84% versus 0%. And that's where I understood that I can bring this particular segment of bill discounting funding to certain corporates. We did data analysis, and today I am ready to start with my own startup who is ready to offer funding basis that bill discounting. And that's my journey. Now
Wow.
imagine if you are sharing the story in the 60 seconds or 90 seconds of your presentation, what impact you are creating on the investor's mind. He can clearly make out an image that this boy has came from a small village,
Yes.
learned the art of accounts. He earned those reputation, that designations from an executive to a CEO, and then from CEO he learned the art of business, the recovery science, how customers behave, and from there he got some ideas which has helped his organization, and now he decided to start the same in his own journey of entrepreneurship.
True. No, it will make an impact on the
Absolutely.
investors, and they will be agree.
So you
Yeah,
so
I
you are
will be
giving
part of it.
so you're giving three key elements to the investor in that moment. One is impact, you rightly said. Second is integrity, and third is inspiration.
True.
So use three I: impact, integrity, and inspiration. And bang, the first 60 seconds you're going to crack.
And I guess this is for the all the co-founders who have been following me. This can be your mantra now. If you are going to have the funding now, this can be your mantra, and you will crack the funding within 60 seconds of your pitch. So now going forward. So as you have been training them co-founders as well, is there a pattern you see the founders who close versus founder who fumble? Even the product are same.
See, the equation is pretty simple. If I ask you about any particular subject, if you don't have the knowledge, you will keep your mouth mum.
Yep.
You will not speak much. But if you know a bit, you will try. Well, you will speak in between and use fillers, filler phrases, filler sentences. But if you know exactly about the subject, you will start talking like a pro. You will be convinced yourself that I can speak about this subject, and you will be able to answer me in the most authoritative way and the most authentic way as well. And that's where your real content will come. It will come from your experience.
True. The way you speak is always on the experience. And I would suggest whenever you go for a pitch or you're going for public, at least write some pointers on which you are very confident to. Like if I talk about myself, I'm more confident on the product and the marketing side. I know the psychology behind the marketing and from where they are coming. So I have an example. Now, ChatGPT is very accessible for everyone. If someone who is not from marketing can put anything on ChatGPT, ChatGPT is going to tell him the similar way what he asked. But a similar way, AI is not going to tell you the policies which can affect your website, which can affect your campaigns. A lot of marketers nowadays, what they do, they just go, add the information, and get the result. In my opinion, learn something from the authenticated source as well. आपको कोई बंदा चाहिए अपने साथ जो आपको बता सके कहाँ आपकी गलती है रादर देन आज चैट जीपीटी रिलायबल रहोगे उससे आपको सिर्फ एक इंफॉर्मेशन मिलेगी जो आपको सिर्फ सुननी है जो आपको अच्छी लगती है राइट
See, I would like to add on this.
हम्म
Knowing and not doing is as good as not knowing.
ट्रू
So taking lot of information from the on the subject from ChatGPT or from AI resources, and if you're not deploying that into an action, a focused action, it's not going to work, and it's as good as not knowing.
one of the last questions for the co-founders you talk they were saying people were talking on the reddit for the same psychology of speaking what actually happening in the brain when someone freeze on stage.
Okay, if you are freeze on the stage, that means that one, maybe you are not fully prepared.
Hmm.
Second, you are new to the environment and you are feeling conscious. That's fear of judgment again. And third, you have people phobia, where you're not able to speak in front of people. We term this as social skills phobia or social phobia. Interestingly, Kubar, 85% of the people living on this planet have public speaking phobia, which is glossophobia. And let me tell you, if you talk about the corporate world, 95% of the people have public speaking phobia. And that's
Yeah.
quite a stagnant number. And I'm sharing this data from different resources available on internet. But I must tell you that if you start working on yourself, if you start believing in yourself that you can do and start visualizing about your success on the stage, you can definitely overcome this problem.
I guess that's a good learning app for everyone, whether you are CXO manager level or a person who fear from the stage of people. Start preparing yourself, and for the rest of the things, I would say you can listen to the podcast. मैं सारा नहीं बताने वाला अभी रिपीट करूंगा तो उसका कोई फायदा नहीं होगा. Okay. So, also Sherry, give me 3 steps to framework for someone who has pitch in 48 hours and is terrified.
Okay. So you're talking about startup pitch?
Startup pitch.
Okay. See, first and foremost is know your subject and let the subject get into you. And then let you and the subject get into the minds and hearts of audience. That's step number one. So speak with heart. Second, if you have something in hand which is informative, use statistics and use stories around to convey your ideas. And third, please speak with confidence. Panic will come to you, fear will come to you, but feel the fear and do it anyway. It's going to work.
So this is for the pitchers or founders who are going for pitch in for next 48 days, 48 hours. ये सुन लेना better रहेगा. So okay, next one. What's the one body language shift immediately makes someone looks more authoritative?
Oh, that's open body language. If you open your hands like this, with your chest very much aligned to what your hands are doing, like this, if you can see me on the camera, and if you can open your body language, this is one power pose which is going to really bring confidence immediately back to you, because this also conveys that you know your subject well, you are ready to what you are going to talk about, and you know much more than the audience sitting over there. And I think that itself sets the right tone with this body posture.
Okay. So, as we talk about the silence as well earlier. So, how do you use silence as a weapon?
There's a very popular saying which I have created. It says that silence is the mother of all speeches, and many of our speeches do not have a mother. And interestingly, when I was telling you the start of the talk,
Yeah.
you know, then I also use pause. So pause is silence in speaking.
Mm.
How you use the silence. So when you enter a room and you have a speech, you have 100 people in front of your room, in front of you, and you start talking. I'm here to say absorb silence in that moment. It will help you connect with the energy of the room. And when you start doing this, gradually you are connecting to the flow of the room. And people who are sitting there, they're not robots. They're also human beings. They're also giving back their energy back to you. So absorb that energy. In that moment, at your neuro level, you will connect with a lot of ideas which are coming from people, or a lot of notions, preconceived notions, or those vibrations which will come to you that people want to listen to this. And the moment you get into that frame of connection and communication with people, you settle yourself in such a way that you will start absorbing what people really want to listen. And you create a situation and an atmosphere in your mind where you can take command like this,
Mm.
just like this.
So the pause have a strong presence.
So when you use the pause, the silence in the room, you are literally conveying, I'm the master.
Mm.
I have an authority. I have confidence. I know the content. And you set the right tone. You influence. When you use silence, you influence.
And that's a very good thing which we can learn from here, that how even you are a manager, though you are CXO or founder, silence is very big thing. But how to use it, that's an art.
That's an art. It will come over a period of time. In fact, I delivered one talk in 2023, which I remember. I was at an international stage and I started my talk with silence.
Okay.
Complete silence for 30 seconds. Everybody was really amazed, and they had a lot of curiosity that the introduction is done. The speaker is here on the stage. Why is he not talking? Actually, that was my way of fetching entire attention of the audience back to me. And I got so much of attention.
I guess people have started. Don't you think people have started judging you कि यार ये भूल गया?
Yeah, I'm sure if this thought prevailed in that room,
Mm.
after 30 seconds, the way I started talking, that question automatically gets answered.
Mm.
That I'm not somebody who has forgotten. I did that intentionally.
Intentionally. That's a
But
strong
that's a
thing.
but that's a pro skill.
Yeah.
I would urge anybody, everybody, especially the CXOs here, that once you get into the art of public speaking, once you almost master it, then you can deploy these kind of strategies. Don't immediately get into that because there's a high chance of failure also if you do not align with yourself on the stage.
And that needs that's where come the author Sherry. Rather than AI, that's come the author who can tell you these kind of texts and the strategies where silence can make the powerful pause.
Not only this strategy, but there are many other
Other strategies
strategies,
as well.
frameworks, communication models.
Yeah,
That's where a lot of CXOs are taking my help in India now.
that's a great one. So now coming from the founders to the CXOs, now थोड़ा सा काम छोटे लेवल पे आते हैं मेरे जैसे लेवल पे, which is the manager level. So I have seen even this includes my experience as well, that the people like me, right? They are very terrified in public speaking. कि यार अगर हमने गलत बोल दिया तो हमने जो सीएक्स सामने बैठा है वो बहुत पावरफुल है, अ, उसके सामने मैंने गलत कुछ वर्ड गलत बोल दिया तो यार वो तो मेरी जान खा जाएगा या मुझे
जॉब से निकाल
जॉब से
देंगे।
निकाल देगा, तो हम बोलते ही नहीं है।
ये बहुत कॉमन क्वेश्चन है। तो मैं आपको इसका आंसर देता हूँ बाय स्टार्टिंग बाय बाय टेलिंग यू द स्टार्ट कि ये एक्चुअली में आता कहाँ से है। ये आता है तब जब आप अपनी जॉब में 100% नहीं हो कहीं ना कहीं।
हम्म।
और आपका कॉन्फिडेंस बहुत लो होता है। या तो आप पर्सनली कुछ प्रॉब्लम से चल रहे हैं, या आप कुछ फाइनेंशियल क्राइसिस से चल रहे हैं, या फिर आपके घर में आपके रिलेशनशिप स्ट्रांग नहीं है, या फिर यू आर नॉट क्लियर अबाउट व्हाट यू हैव टू डू इन योर लाइफ। आप बस जॉब कर रहे हैं जॉब की वजह से, और ऊपर से किसी ने आपको बोल दिया आओ भाई स्टेज पे आओ और बोलो, तो आपको लगता है अरे बाप रे, 20 किलो का वजन जो आदमी उठा सकता था, उसे बोला जा रहा है वो 80 किलो का वजन उठा ले। तो इट्स दैट लेवल ऑफ स्ट्रेस, and that's where people start feeling that stress, that panic, that sweat on their forehead, and those butterflies gushing out of their stomach. तो वो प्रॉब्लम वहां हो जाती है। इसको हटाने के लिए सबसे पहला, आप जिस भी जॉब में है, आपको अपनी सब्जेक्ट नॉलेज ठीक ठाक रखनी होगी। ठीक ठाक से मेरा मतलब है, जिस बारे में आपको बोलने के लिए कहा जा रहा है, क्या आप उस सब्जेक्ट के आस-पास है, उससे कनेक्टेड है? सेकेंडली, आपका करंट अफेयर्स बहुत अच्छा होना चाहिए, क्योंकि मैनेजमेंट आपसे एक्सपेक्ट कर रही है कि आप वो हैं जो ऑर्गेनाइजेशन को प्रेज़ेंट कर रहे हैं बाहर।
ट्रू।
तो ऑफ कोर्स आपका करंट अफेयर्स भी स्ट्रांग होना चाहिए कि आपके कॉम्पिटिटर्स क्या करते हैं, और आपके पास क्या आंकड़े हैं, आपके पास सेल्स के क्या नंबर है, किसका पी&एल स्ट्रांग है, किसका वीक है। ये सब बातें आपको पता होनी चाहिए। कौन अच्छा कर रहा है, कौन अंडर परफॉर्म कर रहा है, ये आपको पता होना चाहिए। और तीसरा, जब आप स्टेज पर आ ही गए हैं, तो थोड़ी-सी तैयारी करके आएँ तो और भी अच्छा है। Because I told you in the beginning of this podcast as well that 92% of the people who shift from middle management to senior management, they do not know how to speak effectively. They are not trained. तो अगर ये चीज आपको पता है कि मुझे आगे जा करके अपनी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में या किसी और ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में, कॉर्पोरेट वर्ल्ड में ग्रो करना है, व्हाई नॉट टू लर्न दिस आर्ट ऑफ पब्लिक स्पीकिंग एंड स्पेंड सम टाइम in the weekends and take sessions online offline as you're comfortable, and get into the habit of public speaking. Connect yourself with some platform which can help you bring that level of confidence back to you.
And that's a very good learning from author Sherry because uh, बहुत लोगों को ना इश्यू होता है कि यार हम लोग नहीं बोल पाएंगे। और पब्लिक स्पीकिंग, आर्ट ऑफ स्पीकिंग सिर्फ सीएक्सओ लेवल की नहीं है, वो आपकी भी, क्योंकि कल को आपको भी उस लेवल पे जाना है, आपको भी उस लेवल पे बैठना है, बट उसके लिए आपको प्रिपरेशन आज से स्टार्ट करनी पड़ेगी। एंड ऑक्सीजन ने अभी जस्ट बताया कि यार जितने भी सीएक्सओ लेवल के लोग होते हैं वो इंटरनली प्रमोट होते हैं रादर देन बाहर से। बहुत कम होता है अंदर से प्रमोट होते हैं। अंदर मैनेजमेंट की आँखों में तब आओगे जब आप सबके सामने अपने सब्जेक्ट मैटर के ऊपर आप कॉन्फिडेंटली बोल पा रहे हो।
Absolutely. So I'll give you one example also. One
हुँ,
of my client was working as a senior director with Ernst and Young (EY), और वहां पे उनका एक टैलेंट राउंड होता है जब उनकी प्रमोशन ड्यू होती है।
हुँ,
उसमें उनको 20 मिनट के लिए प्रेजेंटेशन देने के लिए कहा जाता है। अगर उस 20 मिनट में आप वो बोल गए जो आप उस मोमेंट पे इन्फ्लुएंस कर गए, इम्पैक्ट क्रिएट कर गए, तो अप अलोंग विद द परफॉर्मेंस उसका 30 टू 40% वेटेज है आपकी
हुँ,
प्रमोशन में। क्योंकि दे एक्सपेक्ट यू टू बी एन इफेक्टिव प्रेजेंटर, दे
ट्रू,
एक्सपेक्ट यू टू हैव पब्लिक स्पीकिंग स्किल्स, दे एक्सपेक्ट यू टू हैव एन एस स्टोरी टेलिंग स्किल्स। तो अगर आप वो वहां यूज कर गए, तो आपको
तो
फायदा मिलेगा उसका।
फ़ायदा। आई गेस आपने मेरे अगले क्वेश्चन का पहले ही आंसर दे दिया बिकॉज़ मेरा अगला क्वेश्चन यही था, वुड यू से ओवर डिपेंडेंसी ऑन स्लाइड्स वीकन द पब्लिक स्पीकिंग स्किल्स इन
स्लाइड्स
राउंड?
आपको बिल्कुल वीक कर देती है अगर आप उसकी ओवर डिपेंडेंसी करो, बिकॉज देयर इज अ पर्पस ऑफ यूजिंग द स्लाइड। द फर्स्ट एंड फॉरमोस्ट पर्पस ऑफ यूजिंग द स्लाइड इज टू गेट द बुलेट पॉइंट्स। सेकंड इज, use slide as a source which can create impact, but you should be the eventually you should be the person as a speaker who's creating that influence, who's improvising that content in such a way that people will look slide as a reference, but you as a public speaker
हुँ,
have to be in spotlight, and you should know from each and every slide। आपने अगर 10 स्लाइड बनाई है, 10 की 10 स्लाइड में आपके पास 10 आइडियाज होने चाहिए। एक स्लाइड पे एक आइडिया होना चाहिए, और वो आइडिया क्या है, उस आइडिया के ऊपर आपकी प्रिपरेशन होनी चाहिए। वहां पर आपके स्पीकिंग स्किल्स इंपॉर्टेंट है, और वहां पर आपका प्रेजेंटेशन स्लाइड को सिर्फ एज अ रेफरेंस देखा जाएगा, क्योंकि वो आइडिया वहां नहीं लिखा, वो आइडिया आप
आपके
बोलेंगे।
पास है।
लेकिन मिस्टेक कहाँ पे होती है, जब आप प्रेजेंटेशन स्लाइड को देख करके बोलना चालू कर देते हैं, तो आइडिया कौन बोलेगा? तो आइडिया तो तब तब बोलेंगे ना जब आइडिया आपको पता होगा, जब आपने
ट्रू,
आइडिया की प्रैक्टिस करी होगी, रिहर्सल करा होगा, मेहनत करी होगी। तो मेहनत करनी है, और मेहनत करने से पहले सीखना है कि आइडिया बनाना कैसे है। दिस इज वेयर कुवर आई ऑल्सो हेल्प लॉट ऑफ सीएक्सओस कि हाउ टू क्रिएट एन आइडिया, क्योंकि बहुत लोगों को आइडिया कन्वे करना नहीं आता है।
बिल्कुल सही बात है, नहीं आता उनको। एंड बहुत लोगों को तो एक्चुअली पता नहीं था आइडिया को बनाना भी कैसे है। कन्वे तो आगे जाके आएगा, पहले तो उनके दिमाग में बहुत कुछ होता है।
So you require creativity, you
करेक्ट।
require design thinking, you require analytical skills in order to create an idea. तो बहुत लोगों का ये तीनों स्किल्स के साथ दूर दूर का रिश्ता भी नहीं होता है। तो उनको पहले इस चीज को सीखना पड़ेगा, समझना पड़ेगा, तभी वो चीज आप कर सकते हैं।
सो इसमें मैं एक चीज़ पूछूँगा आपसे, if someone start building public speaking skills in their first 2 years, right? How does that compound over 10 years?
Okay, that's a great question. So when you start learning public speaking skills, it will help you compounding with the way you are communicating in front of people in your day-to-day life. That's one. Second, it will have a great impact on your leadership skills. Your leadership skills are directly connected to your speaking skills. And thirdly, how you speak confidently to strangers, the people who are not known to you, you become so powerful in that. And fourthly, I would say that your personal brand is important as a business brand. So if you are into a job, even then as a CXO, you should have your personal brand. That's what people talk about, speak about, connect with you. I remember I was talking to Mr. R.S. Sudi. He's ex managing director of Amul. He says I'm your big fan, but I say I'm your big fan, sir, because he was the one who took Amul as an organization from 8,000 crore to 55,000 crore. Now that's a gigantic jump. And when I asked him, sir, being a sales guru, what are your thoughts? He said, Sherry, you have to work on your personal brand.
Because if someone start building public speaking skills in their first 2 years, how does that compound over 10 years?
See, first and foremost, the number one thing which you will learn is your leadership skills, and you will start feeling more confident as a person. The second thing which you will notice about yourself is that you are becoming more effective as a human being. You will see that change in your personal growth, your personal development, and more importantly, how you are appearing in front of other people, how you're talking to strangers, and more importantly, how you see yourself in front of different strangers. आप जिन लोगों को नहीं जानते हैं उनसे आप कैसे बात करेंगे, तो you will see a terrific change in you. And I remember I met Mr. R.S. Sodi. He's the ex-managing director of Amul. And though he says, I'm following you and I'm your big fan, but I say, sir, I'm your big fan. And while interacting with him, so he's somebody, for your audience, he's somebody who took Amul from 8,000 crore turnover to a 55,000 crore company. Now that's a stagnant jump, a gigantic jump if you talk about business growth. So being a sales guru, I asked him, how do you create your personal brand? And he says, I use my public speaking skills. And that's where it all connected while I was talking to him. So public speaking skills are so important, and it's evident that if you will start applying public speaking, you start learning public speaking and start getting into presentation confidence, you will see tremendous amount of shift happening in your not only your career graph but also to your personal growth, because this is one skill which can create a lot of self improvement.
True. And I guess within 10 months, 10 years, I would say, when you're doing it, you will more confident. You can speak anything, anywhere, anytime. And your confidence will be from your way of your presenting it.
I know many corporates these days, many organizations who have created small speaking club within the organization, and majorly these initiatives are led by the CHROs of the company. So the idea is again the same what we are talking here in this podcast.
True.
Get yourself into public speaking.
Public speaking.
कब सीखोगे बोलना? Because when you talk one to one, there's no problem. When you talk one to many with your friends, that's also not problem. But the moment you talk one to many who are strangers, not known to you, seniors to you, my God, it takes a lot of effort.
So I guess if we continue, there would be a lot of things we can talk on the public speaking. So coming on the last part of the
Sure.
podcast, so let's finish it with one powerful thing from your side. Like author Sherry, ऐसे हम बोलने लगे तो हम पूरा दिन निकल जाएगा. We're going to talk about a lot of things. But now, if we close this chapter, this podcast, but I want to close it with a powerful thing, a suggestion from your side to the founders and to the CXOs. They should speak like.
See, they should speak like a pro. They should be good storytellers, and they should have the right structures. That's what I believe.
So I guess you guys have to start working on your structure first. That will continue, that will may take you to the speaking things as well, which can really work hard and which can really work for you. Whether you're going for pitch, whether you're going for your board meetings, whether you're going for to face your employees. I guess these are the things where it may take you to the another level of the public speaking and as well as your personal brand.
This is an important point you have touched upon board meetings. So some people start feeling that when we are doing board meetings,
Mm.
we become very good in public speaking. That's not the case. Until and unless you can talk openly in front of 100, 200 people, where you can create influence, get the right feedbacks,
Mhm.
and people start coming and telling you, you were an excellent speaker today. You were an amazing speaker today. What a story you have shared. What a journey it has been. I have listened and I got inspired. Till the time you will start getting these kind of compliments, I would say keep on working, and that's where the journey is.
That's true, Sherry. And thank you for the tips, tricks, and how to make it very well for the founders, managers, and the CXOs. And I would urge everyone who is listening to the podcast, you can get in touch with the author Sherry on his own website, and I will drop his website in the comment box. And also, if you have any suggestions or questions, not suggestions, if you have any issues, you can drop your issues in the comment box, and I will try to get also Sherry on the part two of this podcast as well soon,
Sure.
so that things or the value which he's giving to the people can be available for the others as well, and also you guys also learn from him. It's a very good skill, and in the end, I just want to say, start speaking. अगर अभी नहीं किया ना तो शायद आगे जाके आपको CXL लेवल पहुंचने में बहुत टाइम लग जाएगा. So don't be a one-on-one guy, be a 1 to 1500 guy. Am I right?
Yes, yes.
Thank you, also Sherry, for coming up, and hope to see the comments soon so that I can
My
call
pleasure.
you up again.
Thank you.
Thank you.